Hello students, I'm here, Ma'am Des. We will have now the topic for quarter 4, week 4 and 5. Okay, so we will now discuss the presentation of data. So our objectives at the end of the video, you should be able to, number 1, uses appropriate graphs to represent organized data, bar graph, pie graph, and line graph, histogram, and ogive. Number 2, apply mathematical concepts of bar graph, pie graph, and line graph, histogram, and ogive in real-life situations. Please like, share, and subscribe to Ma'am Des Math Tutorials. Hit the notification bell button to alert you of the latest video lessons. For all questions, comments, and suggestions, please put them down below in the comment section. Okay, so let's start from this situation. So let us consider the following situation below. Read the article below about the 7 lakes of San Pablo City and try to answer the questions that follow. The 7 lakes of San Pablo City are being developed to become tourist destinations. The surface areas and depths are as follows. So areas and depths. Sampaloc, 99.21 hectare is the area and the depth is 27 meters. Next, Calibato, the area is 27.18 hectare and the depth is 135 meters. Next, Bunot, 38.16 hectare is the area and the depth is 23 meters. Mohicap, 20.49 hectare and 27 meters is the depth. Next, Palakpakin, 54.39 hectares and the depth is 7.5 meters. And then Pandin, 23.54 hectares and the depth is 6.3 meters. And for the last one, we have Biambo. 36 hectares is the area and the depth is 40 meters. So these are the 7 lakes of San Pablo City. Okay, so look at the map. As you can see, we have the label here, the Mohicap Lake, Palakpakin Lake, Sampaloc Lake, Bunot Lake, Calibato Lake, Pandin Lake, and Yambo Lake. Okay, now, so let us answer the following questions. Number 1, which lake is the deepest and the shallowest? So, the deepest and the shallowest. Okay, now, so look for the descriptions here. So, the area and the depth. So, since we are going to find the deepest and the shallowest, so we will have Calibato and Pandin. Ayan. So, Calibato, okay, is 135 meters depth. Okay? And then, we have Pandin, we have 6.3 meters. So, that's why it is the shallowest. Okay. Number 2, which lake is the widest? Ayan, widest. Okay. And then, the narrowest. So, widest yung malawak, narrowest yung makitid lang. So, we will have Sampaloc and Mohicap. So, Sampaloc is the widest. So, we have here 99.21 hectares. And then Mohicap is the narrowest, which is 20.49 hectare. So I think you may have probably found the answer with difficulty. Thus, we need to look for ways to present this data in such a way that it is easier for the reader or viewer to analyze and interpret them. The TLE teachers conducted a survey among incoming grade 9 students. They asked a sample of 200 students with the following survey question. Okay, so we have the survey on TLE 9 subjects. The question is, in which TLE specialization would you like to enroll? 1. Cookery. Next, dressmaking. Next, electronics. Next, we have nail care. So those are the 4 specialization in TLE that's involved in the survey. The following frequency distribution was constructed. Okay, so we have the headings, TLE specialization, tally, and then the frequency. For the cookery, we have 42, dressmaking 68, electronics 36, nail care 54. So the given frequency distribution can be presented using graph. Okay, so pwede nating i-present this with the use of graphs. And then what do you mean by graph? Graph is a pictorial representation of statistical data. This is used to represent a set of data to make it easier to understand and easily interpret statistical information. Next, there are 2 diagrams with which you may present your frequency distribution using bar graph or a pie chart. So this table can be represented with the use of bar graph and also pie chart. Okay, what do you mean by bar graph? A bar graph is a representation that uses bars, of course, or rectangles that show the frequency of each category. Comparison among frequencies can be easily done by looking at the respective heights of the bars. Okay. Next, gaps between bars are spaced equally. Remember that graph to be used in comparing the data is bar graph. Okay, so here is now the example of bar graph. So based on the survey results on specialization chosen by the TLE grade 9 students, the constructed bar graph is shown below. Okay, so the title is Student's Choice of TLE 9 Subjects. Okay, in the vertical axis, so we have the number of students, and then we have the cookery, dressmaking, electronics, nail care. Okay, now, so for the cookery, as we can see, we have 42. So which means it is between 40 and 45. Next, dressmaking, we have 68. So you can find 68 in before 70. Next, electronics. Electronics is 36, so you can find it after 35. And the nail care, we have 54. So you can find it before 55. Now, let us answer the following question. How many students choose cookery? Okay, so based on the bar graph, you can easily answer this question. So in cookery, so we will have 42 students. Number 2, how many students choose nail care? Nail care, so look for the nail care. Ito po si nail care, and here is the bar graph. Okay, 54 students. Number 3, which TLE 9 subjects shows you the tallest bar on the graph? So, kitang-kita naman kung alin po yung tallest. So, we have dressmaking. Ayan. Number 4, the shortest bar is displayed by what TLE 9 subject? So, our answer is electronics. Okay, so kita po, short test, diba? And number 5, which bars have the least difference between their heights? Okay, so kahit hindi po natin i-minus yan, diba? So kita na kung alin po yung least difference between their heights. So we have cookery and electronics. Okay? Now, let us have the learning task. A survey was conducted among 100 students and they were asked which among the core values is the most relevant. So below is the frequency distribution. So we have the core values, C1, makajos, C2, makakalikasan, C3, makatao, C4, makabansa. And then the frequencies, we have 50, 30, 15, and 5. Okay, so complete the bar graph at the right. Okay, so you can pause the video and then try to answer. Okay, now, so here is the finished answer. So most relevant core values among 100 students. So this is the title. Okay. And then left side of your graph, we have number of students. Okay. And then in the horizontal axis, so we have core values. So again, in the vertical axis, we have number of students. In the horizontal axis, we have core values. Okay, so let's start from C1. For the C1, for the core values 1, we have 50. So, nakatapat po si bar kay 50. Next, for the core values 2, it is 30. So, ayan, nakatapat po yung bar kay 30. And then, C3 or core values 3, which is 15. Okay, so look at the bar graph. So, it is between 10 and 20 since it is 15. And core values 4, we have 5. So, it is between 0 and 10. Next, for the pie chart, what do you mean by pie chart? A pie chart is a circular diagram that shows the proportion of each category. Each proportion is usually labeled by either percent or a fraction. The slices in a pie chart are known as sectors. How to construct a pie chart? To complete a pie chart, you need to compute the following. Number 1, percentage of each observation. Number 2, the number of degrees for the sector of the size of the piece of slice for each observation. So look at the table. So we have the headings as TLE specialization, the frequency, percentage, and the number of degrees. Okay, for the cookery, it composed of 42. So how can we find the percentage? So 42 divided by 200. 200 is the number of respondents of the survey. And then multiply it by 100. That's why we have 21%. Next. For the number of degrees, how can we find the number of degrees? So, 21% of 360 degrees. So, what you will do is, see 21%, change it into decimal. Okay? So, it is 21 hundredths. And then multiply it by 360 degrees. So, you will get 25.6 degrees. Next, for the dressmaking, so same way, 68 divide by 200, then multiply by 100. So we have 34%. Okay, so again, multiply 0.34 times 360 degrees. Our answer is 122.4 degrees. Next, electronics. 36. 36 divided by 200 times 100 equals 18%. And then 18% of 360 degrees, 18% change to decimal. It becomes 18 hundredths times 360 degrees. So we have 64 and 8 tenths degrees. Next, for the nail care, 54. 54 divided by 200 times 100 equals 27 degrees. Again, 54 divided by 200 times 100 is equal to 27%. 27% of 360 degrees, change 27% to decimal. So 2700 times 360 degrees, so it becomes 97 and 2/10 degrees. Now, with the aid of a protractor, so we will use the protractor and compass, you can construct the circle and sectors needed. Lastly, label each sector with their corresponding observation and percentage. So you will use these obtained degrees in creating your circle. Okay, so this is now our pie chart. So title, Student's Choice of TLE 9 subjects. Okay, 27% nail care, cookery 21%, electronics 18%, and dressmaking we have 34%. Okay, so it is obtained with the use of compass and protractor. Okay, now answer the following questions. Number 1. Which TLE 9 subject has the greatest proportion chosen by the students? So, kitang-kita na naman po natin sa pie chart, alin yung may pinakamalaking portion. So, we have the dressmaking. Number 2, what TLE 9 subject has the least percentage? So, from the division of the circle, we can find which is the least percentage subject. We have electronics. And number 3, what percent of the students choose nail care? So the question is, what percent? So your answer must be in the number with percent. So we'll have 27%. Number 4, how much greater in proportion is cookery than electronics? Okay, so our answer is 3. Why? How did we get 3? So cookery is 21, electronics is 18, so just subtract it. So the answer is 3. Number 5, if the needed number of teachers will be based on the number of their students, which TL subject should have the greatest number of teachers? Okay, so your answer is the dressmaking, since it is the most percentage. Okay, for the learning task 2. Using the table in learning task 1, complete the table below to compute for the size of the sector. Complete the pie chart, include labels. Okay, so ito po yung ginawa natin kanina. So yung table, given the table, ayan. So core values again, then given the frequency, and then the percentage. Okay, paano ba nakuha si percentage? So again, the frequency is 50 divided by 100. So we have 0.5, and then multiply it by 100 again. So we have 50%. So same with 30, 15, and 5. So we'll get 30%, 15%, and then 5%. Okay. So for the size of sector, okay, since circle have 360 degrees, diba? Yung buong circle is 360 degrees. So multiply it by 0.5. So we will get 180 degrees. Okay? 0.3 times 360 degrees is 180 degrees. And then 0.15 times 360 degrees is 54 degrees. And then 0.05. Why 0.05? Baka kasi nagtataka yung iba. Ayan. So, 0.5. Ayan. So, we have 5. Change po natin into decimal. Okay. So, 5. So, move to the left. 1, 2. Bakit 2? Since divided by 100, so you will move 2 places to the left. Okay, so that's why it is 0.05. Okay, now, so multiply again by 360, so you will get 18 degrees. Okay, now, so look at the finished product. So the title is Most Relevant Core Values among 100 students. Okay, so since it is 180 degrees, meaning 50% or kalahati ng circle. Next, 108 degrees. So alin po ang 108 degrees natin? So we will have 30%. So ito yan. So with the use of protractor. Okay, next 54 degrees. So we have 15%. Ito po yun. And then we have 18 degrees. So we have this one, the 5%, the color blue. Okay? Now, what about line graph? A line graph is an illustration that shows the association between the independent variable on the horizontal axis and dependent variable on the vertical axis. The association can be either in increasing or decreasing trend. Ayan. So, pag line graph po ang pinag-uusapan, andito po lagi yung trend of the line, the increasing and decreasing. Next, line graph is useful in presenting data that indicate changes over a period of time. Okay, situation 1, weather temperature. A science teacher would like to study how the temperature changes within a day. Thus, he recorded the temperature readings after every hour. Below was his record. Ayan. So, for 9 a.m., we have 23 degrees Celsius. For 10 a.m., we have 24 degrees Celsius. 11 a.m., 26 degrees Celsius. 12 noon, 27 degrees Celsius. And 1 p.m., 27 degrees Celsius. And 2 p.m., we have 25 degrees Celsius, 3 p.m., 24 degrees Celsius, and 4 p.m., 24 degrees Celsius. Okay, now, so here is now our line graph. Okay, so again, for the vertical axis, it is named with temperature in Celsius. Ayan. Next, for the horizontal, as you can see, written the time. Okay, now, so let us answer the following. What is the lowest temperature between 9 a.m. until 4 p.m.? Okay, so 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. What is the lowest temperature? So, kita po naman natin. Ayan, so from here, for 9 a.m., 23, next 24, next 26, 27, this one 27 again in 1 p.m. Okay, and then this one 25 in 2 p.m. And then we have 24 in 3 p.m. And then 4 p.m. is 24 again. So our answer is 23 degrees Celsius. Okay. That's the lowest temperature. Next, number 2. What time or times was the highest temperature measured? Ayan. So, kita po natin alin yung may pinakamataas. Ang sagot ay 12 noon and 1 p.m. So, ito po yun. 12 noon and 1 p.m. So, siya po yung may pinakamataas na temperature, which is 27 degrees. Next, number 3. Between what times there is no change in temperature? So, alin daw po yung walang change in temperature? So, meron po tayong nakikitang dalawa dyan. So, we have 12 noon to 1 p.m. Ito po yun, 12 noon to 1 p.m. And then, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Okay. Next, number 4. What is the increase in temperature between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m.? 9 a.m. and then 11 a.m. What is the increase? So 23 and then 24. And then we have 3 degrees Celsius. So again, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. So ayan. So 9 a.m. to 10, we have 24. And then for 11 a.m., we have 26. So the increase is 3 degrees Celsius. Now, number 5, between what times is there a decline of temperature? So, ayan, kita po natin from our line graph that 1 p.m., eto po, to 3 p.m., there is a decline. So, bumaba po siya, diba? Okay. Next, let's proceed to situation number 2. It's all about motion. A jeepney is moving straight ahead along Maharlika Highway. You would like to study the motion of the jeepney by knowing its displacement from the starting station, ayan, at a different times of your travel. Below are the recorded displacements. Okay, so the headings have time reading, then the displacement. So in 1 p.m., 0 meter. 1:02 p.m., 250 meter. 1:04 p.m., 400 meters. And then 1:06 p.m. is 550 meters. 1:08 p.m., 850 meters. And then 1:10 p.m. is 1,050 meters. Okay, so here is the finished line graph. Ayan. So in vertical axis, the displacements in meters. And then sa horizontal axis, we have the time. Okay, so from here, 1 p.m. 0. 1:02 p.m. we have, okay, so 200 to 300. So it is, yung gitna, ano po kaya? In between. So we have, okay, look at this. From 0 to 100. So, yung gitna po niya ay 50, diba? So, kung ito ay 200 din 300, yung gitna po ay 250. Okay? Then, 1:04 p.m. Ito yan. So, nakatapat po kay 400. 1:06 p.m. we have between 500 and 600, meaning 550. Then, 1:08 p.m. Okay, so it is 850. And then the last one, 1:10 p.m., we have 1,050. Okay, number 1. What is displacement at 1:02 p.m.? So in 1:02 p.m., ano daw po yung displacement? Look at the line graph. So we have 250 meters. Okay, so let's continue. Number 2, what time was the displacement equal to 850 meters? Our answer is 1:08 p.m. So, ayan. In 850 is 1:08 p.m. Number 3, between what time periods is the slant of the line steepest? Okay, so steepest. 1:06 p.m. Okay, and then 1:08 p.m. Yeah. Number 4, between 1:02 p.m. and 1:06 p.m., what is the change in displacement? So look for the displacement in 1:02. So we will have 250. And then in 1:06 p.m., we will have 550. So what you're going to do is to just subtract 550 minus 250. Our answer is 300 meters. Number 5. It took how many minutes to reach the displacement of 850? Okay. So again, it took how many minutes to reach the displacement of 850 meters? Our answer is 8 minutes. So, paano po nakuha yan? So, just look at the time. Okay, next, performance task 3. A community pantry organized recorded the donation for the past 7 days. Below are the recorded donations. So, ito po, yung performance task 3 natin. So, kayo na audience, pwede nyo po gawin yan as your practice. Okay. So, below are the recorded donations. So, the headings, days of the week, number of donations. Next. So, Monday hanggang Sunday. And then here are the number of donations. Okay, now. So, in making a line graph, the horizontal axis are the days of the week. And then in the vertical axis, so yun po yung number of donations. So here is 10 points. Ayan. And then another, number 2, label the following. Okay, so dapat po lalagyan nyo ng title, letter B, independent variable are the horizontal axis. So, ang tawag po natin sa horizontal axis is independent variable. So, yung days of the week natin, yun yung ating independent variable. Okay, next, letter C, dependent variable, yung vertical axis. Ayan. So, next, number 3, answer the following questions. So, 4 points po ito. What day has the most number of donations? So, pag nalagay nyo na dyan yung line graph nyo, okay, so sasagutan na yung A to D. Letter B, what day has least number of donations? Letter C, how many donations did the pantry receive for a week? And letter D, what is the increase of donation between Friday and Saturday? So again, this is your practice. And then, what is the histogram? Okay. So a histogram is a bar graph that displays the frequency of each class. Again, a histogram is a bar graph that displays the frequency of each class interval. The properties are, there are no gaps between bars. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, no gaps. It means, dikit-dikit po yung bars natin. Number 2, bars are adjacent at the class boundaries of the intervals. Number 3, the class interval involves fractional measurements such as weights and heights. Example, the class advisor already finalized the grades of the grade 7 students to present his data. He constructed the frequency table below. Okay, so look for the class interval. So start from 70 to 74, 75 to 79, 80 to 84, 85 to 89, 90 to 94. Speaking of class interval, okay, so from this class interval, you will find, or you can now find the class size, diba? So from 70 to 74, okay. Frequency 4, 10, 12, 8, and 6. Okay, now set the horizontal axis for the class interval and the vertical axis for the frequency. Ayan. So, alin nga po ba ang horizontal axis natin? So, yung class interval, ito yung nasa baba. And then the vertical axis, so yun po yung frequency natin dito. Okay. Now, so start 70 to 74. Ayan. 75 to 79, 80 to 84, 85 to 89, 90 to 94. Then yung frequency natin dito start from 0. So kung napapansin nyo, okay, yung frequency po natin, di ba, we have, look at this, 4, 10, 12, 8, and 6. Okay? So dapat po ay complete po ito or equal skip counting 0, 2, 4, 6, 8 yan, skip counting by 2s. Ay hindi naman po kasi pwede, let's say 0 tapos 4 agad tapos 6. Okay, so hindi po tayo makagawa ng maayos na bar graph pag ganun ang ginawa natin or histogram. Ayan. So, ito na yon. So, from 70 to 74, ayan, tingnan natin sa baba. So, we have 6. Okay. So, hanapin mo yung 6. Ayan. 75 to 79, we have 8. Okay. So, 8. Next, 80 to 84. Okay, 12. Ayan. So, mas madali mo siyang makikita. Next, we have 85 to 89. I will use pencil. 85 to 89. Okay. So, in 85 to 89, ito po yung 10. So, ito yan, 10. Next, 90 to 94. 19 to 94, we have 4. So, ito po yan. Ayan. That's it. Now, for the learning task 3, based on the histogram of the results of the exam, answer the following. Number 1, in which score interval the most number of students fall? Okay, so tingnan natin yung histogram natin dito. The title, results of the exam. In the vertical axis, we have students. And then, the horizontal axis, we have the points. Okay, sabi po dito, in which score interval, the most number of students fall. Ayan, so kitang-kita naman po natin, di ba? So, our answer is 50 to 60. And number 2, in which score interval does the least number of students fall? Okay, list number. So, kita po natin dyan kung alin. Siyempre, may pinakamababa, di ba? Okay, so 90 to 100. Number 3, what score intervals have more than 30 students? Okay, more than 30 students. Siyempre, hindi ko katitingin sa 30 students o sa number of students. So, alin po dyan? Okay. Have more than 30 students. So, more than 30 students. Check natin. Ayan, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, 60 to 70. Number 4, what score intervals have less than 10 students? Okay. So, less than 10 students. So, syempre, ito yung 10 natin. Isabi less than. So, ano po yan? 0 to 10 and 90 to 100. Number 5, which score interval has a frequency closest to 20 students? So, mas malapit sa 20 students. 70 to 80. Ito po yan. Okay, now, what do you mean by ogive? An ogive is a type of line graph that shows cumulative frequency. So, kanina kasi, bar graph and histogram, di ba? So, yung histogram, it's also a type of bar graph, di ba? It's a bar graph since it's used bar. So, ang pagkakaiba lang nun ay no gap. So, ito namang ogive. Okay. The x-axis has the class boundaries of the class interval, while the y-axis are the possible partial sums of frequencies or cumulative frequencies. Ayan. So, yung cumulative frequency po, it is calculated by adding each frequency from a frequency distribution table to the sum of its processors. And then, cumulative frequency is used to determine the number of observations that lie above or below a particular value in data set. So, tingnan po natin. Ayan. Example, the class advisor already finalized the grades of his grade 7 students to present his data. He constructed the frequency table below. So again, class intervals, frequency, lower class boundary, upper class boundary, and then cumulative frequency. Okay. Now, in finding the cumulative frequency, paano nga po ito gagawin? So, ito lang po yan. Okay. So, look for the frequency here. So, below class interval, dun po tayo magsisimula. So, we have 6. Ayan. So, 6 and add it by 8. So, we have 14. 14 add by 12. So, we have 26. Okay. And then we have 26 add by 10. So, we have 36. Okay. And 36 add by 4. So, we have 40. So, ayan. So, in cumulative frequency, start po tayo dun sa pinakamababang class interval. Ano? So, and then use the frequency. Okay. So, yung pinakataas po dito, ayan. So, this is the total of your frequency, which is 40. Check po natin. 4 plus 10, 14. Okay. Plus 12, we have 26. And then plus 8, 34. And plus 6, we have 40. Okay. Answer now the following using the ogive at the right. Okay. Number 1, how many students have a grade of lower than 80? So our answer is 14 students. So kasi bakit po? So look for the 80, lower than 80. Ayan. Ano ba yung lower than 80? So 79.5. Diba? So it is 14. Okay. So the explanation is we select the boundary 79.5 because it is lower than 80. Okay? As I've said a while ago. Based on the ogive, the 79.5 has a plot of 14. So ito po yun. Yan, 79.5. Okay. Yan. And then, there are 14 students with grades lower than 80. So we cannot select 84.5 because it is more than 80. Diba? The given question is lower than 80. So hindi mo naman pipiliin yung 84.5. Next. How many students have a grade of at most 90? So, eto, may answer na po kasi, ayan, 36 students. So, at most 90, so, alin ang pipilian natin? So, yung 89.5. Okay? So, ayan po, it is 36 students. This one. Ayan. Okay. Explanation, we select the boundary 89.5 because we need grades that are 90 or lower than flat of 89.5 is 36. Therefore, the answer is 36 students who have a grade of at most 90. Okay? Now, learning task 4. Okay? So, for the learning task 4, an interview was conducted to a group of passengers and they were asked how long it took them to wait for their service vehicle. Based on the ogive at the right, answer the following questions. Okay. So, tingnan po yung ogive natin at the right. Yan. The vertical axis, cumulative frequency, and then the horizontal are the minutes. Okay. How many passengers waited for at most 56 minutes? Ayan. So, may answer na po tayo dito. Ayan, 56 minutes. So, 3. Kahit po 3. Okay. So, alin po ba dito ang titingnan natin? Ayan po. At most 56 minutes. So, dito ka titingin. 55.5. So, malapit po siya sa 55.5. Ayan. So, malapit po sa 56. So, ito po yan. So, assume that this is 3. Next, how many passengers waited for at most 78 minutes? Ayan. So, dito ka po titingin. 77.5. So, almost 78. So, we have 30 passengers. Okay. And number 3, how many passengers participated in the interview? So, ilan ba yung nag-participate sa interview? Ayan. So, 70 students. For what was the longest possible time that the passengers waited? Oh, longest time daw that the passengers waited. So, 110 minutes. Okay. And then we have, kasi ito po, 110.5. Ayan, yung boundaries niya. Number 5, how many passengers waited for more than 89 minutes? So, more than 89 minutes. So, 88.5 and then hanggang dito. So, ang sagot po natin ay 10 passengers. Okay. Kasi ito po siya. 70 tapos naging 80. So, 10. Okay? Now, so that's the end of the discussion. So let us have a quote. Set your goals high and don't stop until you get there by Joe Jackson. Thank you for watching and please support Ma'am Des Tutorial. See you on my next video. Bye-bye.